Okay, in this third lesson on the name project, we're going to do something a little fancy. We're going to make the same name, and you're going to do this with your name too, but we're going to highly stylize it. In other words, my name's Fisher. I've got a fish. I'm going to draw a fish and then put my name inside the fish. And I'm also going to be overlapping my letters as I do this. Now, in order to do that, I want to do it on the same exact drawing that I have my first drawing. So I want to direct your attention over to the browser bar. This is called the browser bar over here. And you can see that I've got my three-dimensional shape. The question is, where's my sketch? Well, if we hit the plus sign, or select the plus sign next to extrusion here, we can see that here is the sketch. And if I put my cursor over it, it highlights the sketch on the screen. If I right-click that sketch, I can edit it. So we are going to edit the initial sketch, and you notice what happens. The ribbon goes back to the sketch tab. The sketch 1 here is highlighted, and it's now active, and it goes back to the view that is looking straight at the sketch. Every time we do a sketch, it goes into the plane where the sketch was made. So we're going to zoom out a little bit here, and I'm going to come down below it, and I'm going to go ahead and draw myself a fish. So to draw a fish, I'm going to use the line tool, and I'm going to start my tool like that, and I'm going to make a little tail. And I want to put the other half of the tail up here right now. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to say restart. Restart. It's that right click option on the mouse. Restart, and I'll restart my line at the endpoint. Now I'm going to purposefully make a mistake. I'm not going to start at the endpoint. I'm going to be a little bit off of it. I'm doing that on purpose so I can show you how we're going to fix that later. Okay? And now I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to get my little angle going. And now I'm going to go up to where I'm going to make a three-point arc. A three-point arc will start there at that point. We're going to come out here. And notice when I put my cursor out here, it gives me the midpoint of this line. It's pretty cool. It lines up when I'm at the midpoint. That's what I want. And I'm going to go ahead and make myself a little fish shape. I'll do another three-point arc from this end of the tail. I'll come here, and I'll make it a little bit less shallow, just to make it look interesting. Okay, so remember I made this mistake on purpose. We'll come back to that later. Okay, so this is my fish shape, and now I'm going to write my name inside of that. I'm going to use my line tool, and I'm going to come over here to this F. Now, obviously, it's going to be a lot more stylized than my other one in lots of different ways. Okay, so there's my F. Now, my I, I'm going to start my I over here, and I'm going to bring it down. Well, the I won't do because it's kind of awkward. I'll put the I right here. There's my I. You'll notice that my fish changed shape a little bit. I don't mind that because the way that I'm making this part, I'm not too concerned about that. If I was concerned, I could always go back. This is your back button. Do you see that? I could change the location of that eye so it didn't do that. But I'm not really too worried about it. There's that. There's the eye. Whoa, I'm worried about that. That's not good. So you notice I went back. Okay, I use the back button to go back to the previous view. You can always end up doing that. Okay. Yeah, it's okay. No, I don't like that either. All right, it's doing that because it's not closed, I believe. Let me go ahead and just delete that. Oh, notice I deleted that line. So if I go back, there's my line. If I select the line I don't want, I can select it and then hit the delete button. Or I can select it and right-click, delete. Okay? All right, let me try this again. I'll go right on this edge here to here, and then here to here. Let's see if this works. There we go. It didn't mind that. So there's my I. Let's make my S using a spline tool. I'll start up here. I'm going to make my S. The more clicks I have, the better. Oops, I don't want it to go there. Zoom in. I want it right there. Okay, I'm going to come over here like this. Now I'm going to wrap it around. I'm going to go behind the I. Do you see that? I'm going behind the I on purpose. I'm going to come in here like this, and I'm going to hit the check sign. There's my S, and yes, I know it's overlapping, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and put a C in here, even though I don't have a C here. My name is Fisher. And let's see, I'll use arc. I'll just use a spline for this. I'll come in here, boom, boom. I'm going to come behind the S there. I'm going to come here. I'm going to wrap it around here like this, and you can see it's looking kind of strange. You would spend more time on yours, making it look a lot more nice than mine. I'm doing it rather quickly here so I can get through it. My H, I'm going to come down here, again, purposefully through the part. And you'll notice that when it closes off, that it starts a new line. That's cool. I like that. I'll make my H here, here, starts a new line. I'll come down here. And I'm just going to finish this off right here, here to here. Okay. Now, kind of strange looking, but you can see it's a little bit more stylish than before. Now, we're going to use the trim tool in order to trim off these lines that we don't want. So I'm going to come up here to trim, right here, trim. It's a little pair of scissors, and I'm going to cut the line in between places I don't want it. So, for example, I don't want that line. I don't want that line. You see how it's trimming it between two lines that I want? Okay, there's my H. I'm going to trim this line. I'm going to zoom in here, and I can see this, how it overlaps? We can't have that. It won't work. It won't extrude a loop like that. So we have to get rid of one of those. I'm going to get rid of this one. Don't worry about these spline lines there. It's just giving you an option to change the shape by doing that. So I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to come down here. Now I want my H to go behind my C. So I want the C to be prevalent. So I'll delete that line, and I'm going to come back over here and delete this line. Again, don't worry about those lines there. They're fine. I want the C to be behind the S. So I will delete that line. I'll trim it. I'm going to trim this line right here to keep my shape. I'm going to trim this line here so the S is in front of the I. And I'm going to trim this one, and I'm going to trim this one. And look at that. Oop, right there and right there. Let's make sure there's no overlap down here. This might be a problem, but we'll see. It might be okay. That's called a cusp. Over here, that's definitely a problem. I'm going to trim that off right there. All right. So now I can see that my fish shape is more like a fish. It's kind of cool. So now I'm going to finish my sketch. Uh-oh. Where's my sketch? Okay. When you extrude something, you remember we went into the extrusion and edited the sketch. When you extrude a sketch, even if there's more parts to the sketch left, it consumes the entire sketch. All we have to do is make that sketch visible again, and we can use the parts that are in the sketch for our extrusion. So I want to come down to where it says sketch, right-click, and we're going to turn on the visibility. We're going to turn that on. And now I'm able to use those letters, just like I did before, to extrude. So I'm going to go ahead and extrude these letters. First thing you'll notice is I cannot extrude the F. I cannot select it because it's not closed. We're going to come back to that in a minute. But the other ones we can select. We'll select the I. Oops, the S did not select either. So we'll come back and fix that as well. There's my part. I want to go back into the board. I'll keep the same thickness, and I'll say OK. Now, you can see that I have a problem. I have two problems. First of all, my F is not closed, and there's something wrong with my S. I think that's it right. See that? That's the problem right there. It doesn't like those loops. You got to get rid of those. So we're going to go back to our extrude, and it's going to say to us, it's going to show us this red plus sign. This is the sketch doctor. We're going to call the doctor, and he's telling us that there's a self-intersecting loop. What do we want to do with that? Well, I'm going to select next, and I'm going to go to edit the sketch because I know where the problem is. So I'm going to come in here, and how do I get rid of this? Well, I'm going to go ahead and trim it. Trim that, and I'll trim that. And now I've got one closed sketch there. At the same time, I'm going to go ahead and finish this. Now, this line, these two lines here are not intersecting. So I'm going to try to do what's called extend. And if I select this line, now you'll notice over here it's extending down in that direction. It's doing that because this line is too small. It doesn't intersect it. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the endpoint and drag it up just a little bit. Just like that. And then I'm going to extend it to that line. And I need to get rid of this by trimming. So we can use the extend and trim to close loops that we need to use. So I'll go ahead and finish my sketch. going back into the 3D mode, and now I can extrude it once again, but now look at that. I've got my F and I've got my C. I thought it was the S I was fixing. There we go. Boom. And now the last thing is here is you can see that I can see the sketch. Well, we just have to turn the sketch off, turn off the visibility, and there's our part. Again, we can go in here. We can change the shapes of these different faces. Let me just go ahead and do one of these here. I'll just do the inside face different. Okay. There we go. And I'll change those to right-click properties, right? Right-click properties, and I'll change that to some other color. I don't care. Brass. Really didn't change it much, did it? I'll just change it back to, well, that's good enough for this project. Okay, so you can see that now I have my two names. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate these so that I can see all the letters and the three-dimensionality. I think that's right. I want to see the different surfaces that have different colors, and then I want you to go ahead and just do a screenshot. Make a screenshot of that. Put it into a Word document. Which I don't know if this is going to show up. This might not be showing up on your screen, but I'm going to put it into a Word document. I'm going to change the orientation to landscape. And I'm going to paste that picture and make it as big as I can on the page. Paste. And there's my shot, and I can see that you did exactly what you were supposed to do. You'll make a screenshot of that, and you'll upload it under the name project part 3 file upload. Thank you so much. You're now on your way to learning all the ins and outs of AutoCAD Inventor 13. You're starting off by drawing your name. You'll be ending the year, believe it or not, making a cell phone, which is pretty amazing. All right. Have a great day.